And let's see, we have a good crowd, so I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen here. Um, well, yes, let's see. Okay, and I realize this is not in um, slideshow mode yet, but I will get there, I promise.
This,
What?
this is Leah. And Carrie, when you share your screen, do you mind pinning the interpreter on your end as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool.
I can do that. I'm trying to get all this stuff. Y'all don't want to see my messy screen. All right. And I am pinning the interpreter and then I'll start. All right. There we go. All right. And y'all can see that, right? Yes. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I'm so excited. There's so many people registered for this, and a lot of you are on tonight. However, some people registered because they need the recording also, or they'd like the recording. So, I just want to throw that out there that the recording will be available. Um, I'm not going to commit to tonight. Sometime tomorrow, I will send it out to everybody who's registered. Um, but I am going to get into this. So, this is the Advocates Workshop for Disability Day on the Hill 2026. And on this slide, there are two images. And the image on the left is our campaign theme for this year. And it is a badge with a forest at the bottom. And the text says DDH 2026 Adventures in Access. And then at the bottom it says Tennessee. And then on the right, we have the blue Disability Day on the Hill logo, which is little word bubbles. Two of them are blue and one of them are white. And it has a picture of what would be the Capitol building in the middle of that. And it says Disability Day on the Hill on it. And I'm going to go to the next slide. Technology. Let's see. Okay, there we go. And so go over some housekeeping. So turning on your captions tonight. So if you go to the bottom of your screen, and different screens look different. So if you have any problems, please come off mute. Let us know. You can put it in the chat, raise your hand, and we'll address those before moving on. But if you select the CC button at the bottom, some of y'all will see more or three little dots. You can select to turn on captions. Um, and then once you turn on captions, you can also select to get a transcript. And you can also select for that to go on to a different screen in a web browser. But if you have any problems getting that done, please let us know and we'll address that. Um, and I'm going to go on to the next slide here. And then we have an interpreter tonight. Um, and Summer's here. Sorry, it says interpreter. She should be pinned for on my screen. But also, if you would like to pin her to your screen, if you hover over the picture that says interpreter, there are going to be three little dots at the top of her little box. If you select those three little dots and then select pin, you will see the presentation and then you will see the interpreter as well. And if you have any problems with that, please let us know and we will address that. Um, okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. All right, so introductions. So my name is Carrie Carlson. I'm the Director of Community Engagement for the Tennessee Disability Coalition. And for a visual description of myself, I'm sorry, words have been a little difficult today for me. I am a middle-aged white woman. I am actually wearing my one of our previous Disability Day on the Hill shirts that is white. And I will say, I will give my daughter some props and say she says I have pink hair right now. I say it's red. And I'm sitting in front of a blue background, and you can see my white door back there, and I still have my little Christmas tree out. And I'm going to pass this to Leah to introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leah Williamson, and I am the Family Voices of Tennessee Peers Program Coordinator. And I am a Black woman that is middle aged with long brown hair, glasses, and a green hoodie because it is cold. It is cold in my house and it is cold outside. And my background is blurred, so there's nothing fun to see back there except for a couple of paintings. But I can't even see them, so it's just a blur today. But I just want to thank you all for joining us this evening.
And then we have Courtney.
Look, we're
Is this volume okay? Hi everyone. It's wonderful to join you all tonight. For a visual description, I am a person with blonde hair and black glasses, and currently sitting in my wheelchair. I'm wearing a headset and a green shirt with a black cardigan and black leggings. My background is a cozy corner with paintings and things. There are 2 cats in this household, but my caregiver is currently trying to keep them occupied. If my cats decide to make an appearance anyways, one is a very large brown tabby cat, and the other is a smaller gray and white tabby, who will likely try to eat the microphone at some point. It happens. Anyway, my name is Courtney Johnson, and I live up here in East Tennessee. I'm an autistic adult with multiple disabilities, including traumatic brain injury and other chronic health issues. I use this device to communicate primarily due to aphasia from the brain injuries, along with autism. I'll try not to ask about your car's extended warranty, but I make no promises. The device may also mispronounce words. If it does, please feel free to laugh. I graduated from East Tennessee State University back in 2022 with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Sociology and a minor in Family Studies. Related to tonight's workshop, I graduated from Tennessee's Partners in Policymaking program in 2021, where I learned about state legislative processes and how to become involved. I was also involved with the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network's Autism Campus Inclusion Program, where I learned about disability history and policy on the national level. I currently serve as a governor-appointed member on the Council on Developmental Disabilities, representing the 1st Tennessee Development District. On the Council, I am also the committee chair for public policy. In addition, I am the vice chair for the Tennessee Technology Access Program's statewide advisory council.
All right. Thank you, Courtney. Wow, I learned a lot about you. I did not realize you were sitting on all those councils right now. And I met Courtney in Partners in Policymaking. Well, I bet you, but like I really got to interact with you and partners in policymaking. And Courtney, thank you for being our guest speaker tonight. Um, we are definitely going to hear from Courtney a lot more later. So um, I'm going to go. Oh, I'm going to let this person in and then, oh, thank you, Leah. I'm going to go to the next slide. So our agenda for tonight, we're going to talk about how to find your legislators. I know that some of you may not have gotten the email in time to watch the video, but I did send a really good video out about that. We're gonna talk about tips on how to schedule your legislative meetings for Disability Day on the Hill. And we're gonna start discussing our leave behinds or your leave behinds, not ours. And those of you who were on last week, you guys know I'm dropping teasers for the following week. So next week, it's going to be all about what your day at DDH could look like, and the leave behinds are a big part of that. But we'll start talking about that tonight. And then we are going to talk a little bit about how to track bills as well. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Oh, one more thing. We really want this to be a workshop and interactive. So if you have anything, please raise your hand, come off mute, whatever, you jump up and down, Leah will see you. Just find a way to get our attention because we want to hear people speak and interact with you. Because some of you guys have been to more DDHs than me, probably. But first, we're going to do an icebreaker. I know everybody loves these. I do. I know people really don't. But this one's fun. So you can raise your hand, come off mute, or put it in the chat. If you had a golden ticket for a legislative meeting, who would you meet with? You don't have to tell us why, but just who would that meeting? You're guaranteed a meeting with any legislator this DDH. Who would that be? Are there any brave people that want to say it?
Does the governor count?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'd meet with Governor Lee.
Okay.
Let's shoot for the top.
I agree. Yeah, there you go.
And that's why, just so I'd have his ear for 30 seconds and yeah, because he
Awesome.
makes ultimate decisions at the very end. And yeah, Bill Lee.
Well, thank you.
So this is Leah. I've got a couple in the chat. John Ray Clemens and Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally is also a couple of suggestions.
Okay. All right. Well, if anybody else wants to say anything, you can come off mute. You can keep putting them in the chat. I know um, that's a hard one. Leah, who would you meet with?
Listen, I'm with Catherine. I'm going straight to the top.
All right, there we go.
Catherine and I will go to Billy's office together.
Oh,
Let's do it.
I love it. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. That was just a little fun. Oh, yeah, who's that? I'm going back. Was that a hand? I think that was a hand. You can come off mute. I can't. Yeah.
Oh, Tom said, no, 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 I'm all good. Never mind. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's okay. Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm very
Okay.
sure. I was just watching. So no, please go ahead and go on.
Okay, I will. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so how to find your legislator, right? So, I have a little screenshot here in the middle of the screen. It is a picture of the capital.tn.gov website. And if you go to the capital.tn.gov website and go to legislators and then find my legislator, when you do that, let's see, it is going to bring up the site where you can actually put your address in. I didn't think it was going to let me. Yeah, it's not going to let me. I'm sorry. Um, and you can put your address in, and what it's going to do is that is going to pull up your two legislators. So you have a state senator and a representative, so a House of Representatives. And those two people are what is your elected officials, right? Those are who you vote for in the elections. They are who you would go to schedule your meetings. And like I said in that video, there's really good breakdown of actually how to do that. And I'm happy to go through that if anybody would like that really good breakdown of that. But if you go to that website and put your address in, you can go to it'll bring those people up for you. Let me see. I wanted to show you guys, but it's not going to let me do that. Let me go back. Let me see if I could do that. Ah, there we go. Can you guys see that? Did it switch? No? Let me stop sharing and reshare because I want to show y'all.
While you're doing that, Carrie, this is Leah. And we had a comment in the chat about from Miss Pegs. Good evening. That she was on the legislative website, and some of the legislators' websites gave her an error message when trying to locate or confirm their email addresses. For example, Justin Pearson's. And so the question is this up because he's up for reelection? And so that's one of the things that maybe we can make a call about and say, hey,
Yeah, because
an
I don't
experience.
know. I know we have some professional people on the call that know have been around for a while navigating the legislature. Um, do any of you all have advice about that? Because I'm honestly not sure, but we will follow up. Hmm. I don't. So while I'm waiting for somebody to um, you know, respond if they want to. I'm going to go ahead and, because this went to the page, go to the Find My Legislator button. Um, and as somebody, and that changed for you all, right? Okay. And as somebody with a vision disability, I don't like this um, right here because it is very, very, very difficult for me to see. And I have expressed that to our Secretary of State, and hopefully they will fix it one of these days. So right here, so on this screen, we have the Tennessee elected legislator finder. And at the very top in the white box with a yellow background, and the yellow background is the out, outer states in Tennessee. And then in the middle here is the actual state of Tennessee. And you can click on counties using your buttons here. Let's see. Let's see. Yep. So I selected the little I know that's a part of Memphis Shelby County, right? And I did pick the right one. I was like, "Ooh, am I gonna pick the right one to see if his?" And as we said, Justin Pearson's page is not working. So ideally, if once you find your county and you click on that, you can click on the Justin Pearson. It is Senator Ramesh Akbari is on top. And then Justin Pearson is the bottom picture on the left. I'm going to click on his name and see what happens. Yeah, see, we went to the error message. And I don't know why that's happening. It could be because he's up for re-election, but I'm kind of skeptical of that. I don't know why that would matter. But let's see, Senator Akbari's is not working either. Is this maybe down? Let's see. I clicked on a count. I don't know what county that is. I apologize. And it brought up Senator Kerry Roberts and Representative Jody Barrett. I'm going to click on Kerry Roberts and see. They're all doing that. So I'm wondering if something is not going on with their website right now. But we'll follow up tomorrow. I'll follow up and see what's going on. And then once I get an answer, I will give y'all an answer. But ideally, that is how you find your legislators. Does anyone have any questions or comments on finding your legislators? Legislators? I can't ever say that right.
So this is Leah. There was a question in the chat, and Crystal Miller wants to know, is it normal for responses to take more than a week? I emailed my legislators last week and haven't heard back yet, so I wanted to make sure that I'm doing it correctly.
A week is a little bit of time. Um, I would follow up on Monday. Of course, a lot of them are not in office on Friday, but I'd definitely follow up on Monday. You're good because I only give people 3 days usually, and then I'll follow up again.
I also have a 72-hour rule.
Um, I would be able to show, so there's a question in the chat, show how to find their office staff. And I would be able to, but when you, their pages aren't working. So I can't go to, oh, well, sometimes it's down here. So if you scroll down, yeah, you can find their office and phone number. But normally, if I go to click on Jody Barrett's name, it's going to bring up his actual page with their information and their staff and all that, so that you can get their contact information, where their office is, and email addresses and all that. So as soon as we figure that out, I can record a video also and include it once the website is up, record a video, and see if that's a little bit more helpful. So I've stopped, oh, I did stop sharing my screen. So I'm going to go back to the presentation and start sharing again. Technology. It's not my friend today. Okay. Here we go. All right. Thank you guys. Let me put this back in. Slideshow mode. Current slide. Talk to myself here. Okay. So I went on to the next slide, and I'm really advocating for the social media toolkit. And I'm saying that because Hannah, if you guys know our communications person, Hannah, she's amazing. Um, in our social media toolkit for this year, it actually includes legislators, um, or leaders in the state, like Governor Lee is on there, right? That you would want to follow. And she says, and tag, right? If there's legislation being um, that you like, or legislation that you don't, or something happening, and you share something on social media. And she has the information on how you can um, tag Governor Lee or Cameron Sexton. And she also has down below, it says advocacy, advocacy areas to follow and tag. And in that, she has all of the commissioners for each of the departments. Department of Education. She has Commissioner Turner's information on there for Department of Disability and Aging. Right, so she's got all of those individuals listed so you can see exactly how to tag them, and it also has their social media handles. So she broke it down and made it really simple. The website is at the bottom of here, so you can go right to that and tag them. Um, and not just the bad things, right? They like to see the good things also. Always encourage that, because, if you're always tagging them in the bad things, they might not look at that one good thing that you tag them in. And it's probably their staffer. Well, with Governor Lee, it's his staffer doing his social media, right? But that's okay, because a lot of times they do pay a lot more attention. And will bring those issues to them that they might overlook on different days. Does anyone have anything else for this tagging or following? Go ahead, Leah.
This is Leah. And so there was a question in the chat again, which is, can we get a list of legislators who are retiring this year?
Oh, yes, there's one out there. Um, it was updated last week. So yes, Leah, can you make a note for me? We be my receptionist. And I will make sure that I get that list and send that out. It might take me longer than tomorrow to get that, just because I know that some others have announced that recently. So I'll make sure that I have the most updated list that I can get my hands on. But absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next slide. And things to understand about making your legislative appointments, and about your legislators. And I hesitated when you asked about the 7 days, because legislators have only been, this is their second week. So they don't have a schedule that far out. It's not an excuse to not respond and let you know that. But they will not have their schedule until the Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday. I've heard different responses, but until a few days before your meeting is supposed to be. So they, um, if they have to reschedule with you, they usually send an email, right? Oh, meetings need to be rescheduled. I apologize. And you might meet with a staffer instead of the actual legislator. Say they get pulled to a committee meeting at last minute. There's been a lot of times that I have met with staff instead of the legislator. I will tell you, there when I lived in Cordova area, I scheduled 2 meetings with my legislator and he never showed up both years in a row, right? And never replied to my email. So that kind of stuff happens. Usually not. They usually, they will reschedule. but just be flexible. And I always try and remember to make sure that I'm going to go to the next slide because I think it's on this slide.
Yeah. And
Yes.
while you're doing that, Carrie, Courtney
Yeah.
brought up a great point that it's okay if you meet with a staffer because they do take notes.
Good point. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah. Yes. And sometimes even after my meetings, we're going to talk about those leave behinds, right? Even after my meetings, instead of giving something that I want that legislator to have, I will actually give it to their staffer, because I know that, for one, it's not going to get lost, especially if they're leaving to go to a meeting. But they're going to look at that. I've actually had staffers email me and ask me follow-up questions. So it is, like Courtney said, it is not a bad thing to meet with the staffer. Um, I don't think I would ask to meet with staff, but if you do, that's okay. Anybody have any other suggestions before I go over this slide? No. Okay, so scheduling your email or your meeting, I'm sorry. Um, Email, and I put here best initial way to contact them. And that is for me, because I schedule it, it goes on my calendar. If I'm on the phone with somebody, I'll probably forget. But then there's also a paper trail that I can go back to. And our legislators are busy, so it's easy for staffers too, usually, to get those meetings, via email so that they can confirm with the schedules, and kind of calling them puts them on the spot. I'm not saying you can't call them. If you're a phone person, give them a call. Um, I don't remember who asked about the 7-day question. But I would follow up on Monday. And if you don't hear back in a couple days, I would give them a call then, right? And just be like, hey, I've emailed a couple times and I have not heard anything back. So they might be a phone call person. So it's really a preference. But my first point of contact is an email. And remember to write it down or put it on your calendar. Um, I at DDH, I think a lot of you guys have been to DDH, but I set an alarm on my phone because I'm going to be busy or I'm going to be in the middle of a call or chatting with somebody, and I've almost forgotten before because I've been in the middle of things. So set an alarm. And I always make sure that I confirm if I have not heard back, say I have an appointment, I have not heard from anyone, I will confirm the Friday um, or Monday before DDH. I always make sure I confirm a few days out. DDH is it Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday this year. So I'd probably confirm on Monday. Um, I put it in your calendar, set an alarm again. I glue it to your forehead, right? Joking, but not because you might forget. Any other wise advice on this call?
Well, we had a comment in the chat, and then we had some great advice that followed up with that, which was let me see here. I emailed last week and sent a detailed email. When we email legislators to request appointments, is it best to explain why we're requesting the meeting and outline our concerns? And the suggestion, one suggestion was that to keep your emails brief because that's what they do. And then there was another question about some wanting to know the bill numbers that we wanted to discuss. And then also following up after the meetings with an email as well.
Yes, thank you. Um, all good points, absolutely. When I email, my legislator knows me by now, but and probably knows why I'm emailing him. Um, but in the subject, I usually put, like I said, he knows me, so I will put DDH request, meeting request, because he knows what DDH is. But I would just put meeting request or something like that. But yes, I would keep it brief. Don't give them too much in the email. Um, I mean, you can give them some details, but I want to, I'd keep it brief, like everybody said. But yeah, I mean, I'd put I'm coming to Disability Day on the Hill. Can I meet with you? And then let them know the day that it is. And now DDH is from 9 to 2. That is not saying that you can't meet with your legislator the day before. We've had people have those meetings that start when Cordell Hall opens that day, or at 3 o'clock, or the next day. Whatever works for you is what works for you. So I would just let them know what day it is, what day you would like your meeting to be. Bless you. And then allow them to confirm with that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. Oh, I keep going up here. Okay. And what if you can't attend DDH? Excuse me, or can't get an appointment? That's okay. It's okay. We already said stop, giving staffers stuff. Stop by their office and leave that leave behind. There's that word again. With their assistants. Email them afterwards. You can do a hometown meeting. Some legislators really like meeting outside of session because they're not as busy. They can give you a lot more time. And they like meeting in their community. Um, I know one of my legislators loves going to coffee. Cool, do coffee. Invite them to an event in the community. They love that. Not all legislators, but I know some of them who like to show up to events to take pictures, say they're there, put it on their social media, and that's great. It's promoting your event. And then if you get a chance to chit chat with them while you're there, that's awesome. But you're building that relationship with them. So they're going to remember you the next time you email them and be like, oh, yeah, that's Leah. And she invited me to this event. So I'm going to take time to meet with her next time. So that is good. And then we also, and they might invite you to events. If you do go to a legislator's event, even if they didn't invite you, go up and introduce yourself if you're comfortable. They like that. And attending meetings with somebody else. I'm going to go into that in the next slide. But we get this question all the time. Meeting with a legislator that is not yours? Absolutely. Especially if there is an effort that, say they wrote a bill that you want to talk about. I'm just going to throw this one out there, right? There's a legislation to allow health women who are having healthy pregnancies park in the accessible parking spots right now, right? So if you like that bill, or if you don't, and you want to meet with, I always say his name wrong, Bledsoe. I'm sorry. I always say his name really wrong. If you want to meet with him and let him know your feelings, that's okay, because that's the legislation that he's written, right? And I'm going to go to the next slide. And I already said that. Can you meet with other legislators? Yes. And does anybody want to share anything about that? I pretty much, I thought it was in the slide, but I forgot.
So this is Leah. Courtney said in the chat, Courtney Johnson said in the chat, I've met with many legislators that aren't my own, usually in regard to a bill they've sponsored.
Yeah, thank you. Because yeah, I mean, that would be a perfect opportunity to meet with a different legislator. Um, or if you have something that you want to talk about for next year, right? And it's somebody on the education committee. I mean, it's always a good time to start conversations, but especially meeting with a legislator who has a piece of legislation on the table. They are usually very willing to chat about that. Now I'm going to go to the next slide. Um, it says, what if this is your first DDH, and the meeting isn't for you? And that's okay too. Again, the same points, right? Stop by their office and leave that leave behind. Email them. Doing those home visits, inviting them to events. Um, and if you don't want to have your own meeting, but you would like to see how that process works, um, talk to a friend at the community party. I'd be happy to navigate that. I know any of us would to get you kind of a buddy to go to a meeting to see how that works. So it can be intimidating, and we want to make sure that you're comfortable and you do what is best for you on during Disability Day on the Hill. And
Yeah,
I'm gonna yeah.
this is Leah. And so, yeah, we had a comment in the chat that tag teaming is actually fun and it helps build your courage and break the ice. And also that knowing what committees your legislator on is really helpful.
Mhm.
And tagging along with a friend into a meeting also works to meet with someone new if they're okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking I was laughing because I don't remember who last year or the year before. They had so many advocates that they couldn't fit them in the office. They were spilling out into the hallway, and it was an amazing meeting. And I believe they got their point across, and some things got changed that year. So yeah, not not necessarily big groups like that. Um, it worked for them, but 2 people, 200 people. Advocacy is important. Numbers are important. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide. So, in our disability scorecard, I'm not going to go over this a lot because I want to make sure we have time to get Courtney's. Courtney's gonna give us a lot of her lived experience and really give us some insight. But this is our scorecard for from 2025, right? And this is how um, the Tennessee Disability Coalition, how we kind of score legislators on how they're supporting the disability community. And the categories are things like family caregiving, housing, transportation. So if you want to include this in your leave behinds, or if you just want to look at this to kind of look at some things that there's homework on there, so maybe you want to bring something like this to give to your legislator and really let them look at it and maybe there's some issues on there you want to talk about. It's just a really good resource. And let's see, I'm going to go to the next slide. And this is just bullet points off of that video, how a bill becomes a law. This is complicated. Jeff breaks it. I had to email Jeff and tell him last night that I was putting all of his videos all over the place again. But how a bill becomes a law, he really breaks it down. And the important piece of this is legislation comes from advocacy. And it comes from bringing an issue to a legislator and really having a concrete kind of not just issue but possible solution, right? But they'll help you. um, I know that my legislators helped me with some things that was not even in their realm of expertise. But legislation comes from advocates like each of you on this call. So DDH is a perfect time to start those conversations. and start to get some legislation rolling. So I'm going to go to the next slide. And leave behinds. Next week, we're going to talk about the leave behinds. And on this slide, and I forgot his name, I apologize. If anybody knows his name, please tell me, because he was the most amazing young man. He is a white man. He has got dark hair, wearing a dark shirt, and he made a Groku, which Groku is a little green character. And this is an example of one of our leave behind station behind him. But he made this for his legislator. I wanted one, but we didn't have enough time. And it's just something important to give to a legislator to remember you by. And I know that the legislator that he gave this to really remembered it. Last I heard, he still had it up in his office. So these are short notes. It can be a postcard, a picture, something like this, but we're going to dive into that next week.
This is
And
this is Leah. Courtney said that his name may have been Thomas.
yes, thank you, Courtney. Oh my goodness. Yes, Thomas. I'm putting that on the slide. I'm sorry. I'm gonna slow down. I'm so sorry. So yes, I was like, Tim, like I could not figure out what his name was, but
It was
I'm going to.
with a
Thank
T.
you. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm going to, I have to pull up a different screen here. I'm telling you guys that my multitasking is not working because I'm going to see if Courtney can come off of, if we can get her on the screen. Why is this? Oh. Okay. Now I have my screens working. Okay, do it. We have Courtney now. Okay. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, so Courtney you've attended DDH for many years now, maybe more years than me and Leah. I'm not sure. Um, so can you let us know, do you have a meeting that you still kind of think about when you're preparing for DDH?
I do, yes. There's several I can think of, but there is especially a memorable one from a previous day on the Hill. That meeting was when I met with my representative, Rebecca Alexander. We talked about two different things, one about policy and the other one a bit heavy emotionally. We talked about the importance of protecting assistive technology access when working on a bill related to cell phones in school. When I raised the issue, she immediately planned to amend the bill. We also discussed the Disability Day of Mourning, which is a national vigil to honor people with disabilities who have been murdered by family members and caregivers. It's a heavy subject and not one that people like to think about, but it's something that doesn't get brought up enough. Most of our loved ones couldn't even imagine such a thing, but being aware can help in recognizing the importance of safety and protections for people with disabilities, as well as the acknowledgement on how societal norms and assumptions often shape the way that people see us. That in turn changes how our society interacts with us, for better or worse. Last year, Representative Alexander and I presented a resolution bill on the House floor for the Day of Mourning, where the names of the Tennessean victims were read aloud and recognized. It was very emotional, but felt cathartic. Most victims go under the radar or are ignored, and having every non-name recognized by the state legislature was very powerful to see.
Wow, that's awesome, Courtney. Um, are are there any plans to do that again this year?
We are in the process, but no guarantees.
Well, please let us know if that happens because I would love to support that in any way we can. Um, and then, how do you prepare for your legislative meetings? Is there anything like special that you do?
For me personally, I like to research everything ahead of time. I don't know if it's the autism or the anxiety, but I like to know all the things to expect. One of the things I do is go over resources that the Tennessee Disability Coalition provides, which can give an excellent overview on the current legislative session and what to look for. I also like to go onto the legislative website to read up on current bills and what committees are going to be happening that day. I also have to program some of my things into my device because I can only type so quickly. Having a mixture of pre-programmed comments and typing in person is good for them to see anyways. Many of them have never seen someone use an AAC device to communicate, so modeling for the legislators helps them recognize how to interact with us. When I've met with legislators outside of Disability Day on the Hill, the same still applies. Typing in advance helps a lot, especially when you're sharing lived experiences. When I met with a legislator regarding the housing crisis, I shared my perspective both as a person who relies on home and community-based services, but also as an older sister to an autistic brother who I essentially raised growing up, and my fears about what happens to him in the future.
Oh, wow, thank you. Um, and that's awesome that you get to show them how your AAC device works. I'm just thinking that like that would be cool. I want to see, like I guess we've talked. I don't think I've ever just really paid attention to. I mean, I know that you have it and you use it, but I've never seen you actually like use it. So that would be cool. Um, and one more thing. As an experienced DDH participant, because you are, is there any advice that you can give to this group as they prepare for their meetings? And or I know that, like you said, right, you've testified, you've helped with legislation. Like, is there anything that you want to encourage people to do or advice to give them?
Oh, I can think of several things. First of all, go to the community party if you can. I'm not always particularly great in social situations and get overwhelmed, but it always ends up being a great time. Free food is also a nice bonus, so I have no complaints there. First, be prepared for parking. And for the actual day, one thing would be to really familiarize yourself with the map and expectations when you first go into the building. You have to go through security first, and it may feel a bit like going through a TSA line at an airport. Afterwards, the lobby may feel a little disorienting. Previously, I've been given a map of the building from the coalition. When you or someone in your group gets the map, go over the places where your representatives are. Knowing where the offices are helps you get more familiar and will make you more comfortable. Also, don't be afraid or feel intimidated by the people walking around in their suits and ties. Remember that your legislators are human. Their job is to represent their constituents, and that is you. Don't be worried if you feel unprepared or overwhelmed. Your representatives are people from your towns and districts, just like you. Treat them with respect, of course, but like you would when meeting anyone. Most of all, the important part of Disability Day on the Hill is sharing your story. Personal stories influence policy more than you realize, because at the end of the day, your experiences and stories are what matters the most.
Thank you, Courtney. Those are all good points. And you will get the map this year. Thank you for bringing that up. Um, I don't think we had that in next week's, but there is going to be an addition to the video from last year that was recorded today. Oh, it was done today. Showing parking and that process from parking to going through security. So really updated video, and it will also show the location of the height adjustable adult size changing table and how to get to that. So I'm excited. I haven't seen it obviously, but it will include parking because that can be difficult. But does anybody have the hotel, the shuttle, that is a thorn in our side because it is a third party. There's a question about the hotel offering a shuttle. It is a third party, so we can kindly ask them, but actually Cordell Hall is not on their route. They go to Broad, right? Which is only a couple blocks away. So I always say that a few dollars might get you a couple blocks. I don't know if they take tips, but I don't know if that's something, I don't know if that's illegal, so don't listen to me. But you know, you might be able to persuade the shuttle driver to drop you a couple blocks further down the road. I don't think that that's too unreasonable to ask. Um, did I miss any questions? Thank you, thank you, thank you, Courtney. I can't wait to see you at DDH in person again. Anything else you want to share? I know we're right at 7. No? Okay. Well, I'm trying to keep I was trying to look at the chat, but did I miss anything? Does anybody have any questions or concerns? And don't forget next week. No? If not, we'll let you guys go. Thank you so much. And we'll see you at next week and at Disability Day on the Hill. Bye, guys.
Tom says, thank you so much. Thank you, interpreter. Great job. Bye bye, you all.
Bye, Tom. Thank you.
All good?
Yeah, we're all good.
All right.
Thank you, Summer. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys next week. And I
Okay.
hope everything goes well with the snow, ice, doomsday stuff we have impending. So stay warm.
Yes, you too. And yes, we'll see you next week and those
Okay.
fruit by the foot.
That's right. I've got them. If you need, I'd mail them if I could, but I don't
I
know
know,
if the mail's
right?
going to work. Y'all take care. Good
Thank
night,
you.
y'all.
Bye.
Bye bye.